So when we're in that place trying to accomplish something that only God can accomplish, we will fail, right? And so what that does, it sends us on this spin where we're constantly trying to find the next thing to fulfill whatever is unfulfilled in us, instead of resting and knowing, wait, he's God. He's sovereign. He's good. He can do all of this on my behalf. I don't have to work on his behalf. Now, many of us think we trust God. If I asked you the question today, do you trust God? Unequivocally, the majority of us would say, absolutely. And we would likely be offended by the idea of someone thinking that we don't trust God, right? Because we're believers and we're supposed to trust God. But every single thing in our lives always boils down to trust. I don't care what it is, everything boils down to trust. Whether we want to move forward or step back, it's always trust. When God has told us that he's going to do something in our lives, and we don't see it happen, and we don't see how it could happen, and we start to focus on what we can do to make it happen, that's a lack of trust. When we see a door start to open, but it's taking too long, and we're ready for it to happen now, so we control our circumstances and we manipulate our outcomes, because we're just going to call things what they are, right? That is a lack of trust. Let's get a little closer now. When God's told us that he's going to take care of us, but we lose our job. I don't know, do you know anybody who's lost their job recently? And we start losing sleep at night trying to figure out our side hustle so we can contribute to our income. That is a lack of trust. There's nothing wrong with a side hustle. But when it causes us to live in anxiety and fear and contemplate how to provide for ourselves when God's already said that he is our provision, it's attempting to provide for ourselves when he alone is our provision. When I lost my job, God told me two things. In January, I got laid off from my job. I knew something was going to change soon, but I didn't know it was coming that soon. So the rug was a little bit pulled out from under me. And God told me two things when I just started seeking his face, saying, okay, what's going to happen next? Because right before I lost my job, I had an interview, 4 interviews for the same company for a job that I thought I was going to get. And it was like the job. And then that job didn't happen. And then, not long after that, I got laid off from the current job. So then I had nothing. And God said so clearly to me, I'm making this very plain to you. If I wanted you to walk back into that, I would have left that there. But I want to tell you 2 things. This is what God said to me. I want to tell you 2 things. Do what I've put in front of you and stop trying to connect the dots. Do what I've put in front of you and stop trying to connect the dots.